Because that's about the only fucking thing worth. This is just.
I just can't believe you have it. George has really changed his tune on Johnny Manziel, everybody.
It's because he's gonna piss so many of you off. And that's honestly.
And that's you find that kind of shit entertaining.
I think it's fucking hilarious.
By the way, George is not drunk, nor is he buzzed or anything.
He's pissed off.
Fucking tired as shit.
Yeah, and I'm tired of watching UFC events like this. I'm sorry. If that doesn't make me a diehard fan, fuck it. Your sport sucks. It's stupid. I don't get it. It's dumb. After a night of 6 straight fucking decisions, it's 1:45. I am tired. I'm tired of watching cards like that. That's 2 back-to-back. I don't know what you people got on Fight Pass, but let me tell you what. If that bullshit was on Fight Pass, I'd be pissed off I even paid $10 for Fight Pass. Yeah. I'm sorry, but when you take this stable of fighters that this man has, when he cut John Fitch, he said he needed to cut about 100 dudes. Then you must have signed about 3 million, because I've never seen the fighters in the UFC stretched so thin. And with this many events, they're not quality. You can't tell me they're quality, because the last 2 events, this one included, was not quality.
Yeah.
I put out one simple tweet. Name one fight you would sit down and watch again. I'll wait. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, you know, I will say this: the main event, you know,
Cub Swanson put on a show.
Cub Swanson tried to put on a show, and he did put on a show. He didn't try to put on a show, but he put on a show, and he tried his ass off to knock dude out. And some people booed. I don't know why.
Even in the 5th round, he was trying to end the fight. I mean, there's not too many fighters who do that. There's not many fighters, and his cardio was on point to the point where he's going into the 4th round thinking he had. It was only 2. It was only 2 rounds done or something. Anyway, the fight card was not that great.
It wasn't.
You didn't miss much if you didn't see it. There were no big upsets. There were no big name-win guys. And that leads us right into July 4th weekend.
It really does. So we're going to skip all that together and get into what everybody's, you know, waiting for. And this is this big, you know, July 4th event.
Maybe Bobby put out a thing and said, Bobby over on our FaceSpace page put out a thing and said, does it feel like the UFC is pushing the world versus, like the US versus Brazil? And I kind of understand the marketing thing because you do have the World Cup going on right now. So, and the US is in the knockout round.
They are.
But you capitalize, and it's July 4th weekend. So you're capitalizing on this big US pride because you're pushing Chris Weidman.
2 champions that are US,
and Chris Weidman's, you know, a baby face, and Ronda Rousey's an American, and they're both fighting foreign, one Canadian and one Brazilian.
And they both hold the titles.
I kind of understand the marketing.
I can do it. And with that being said, though, I guess what we're trying to ask you people are just like, you know, do you think it always is kind of, there's undertones of that with Dana? Like, I mean, I think that's what maybe Bobby was getting at, because I think that sometimes, like, I think, and I don't think, like Bobby said, damn, one of the things he said that I agreed with is like, wow, I feel like if I'm not rooting for a fucking American, I'm not being patriotic. And, you know, you're patriotic, I'm fucking patriotic. I think we're as patriotic as fucking Dana is. But that doesn't mean that we're going to fucking, you know, that we're going to shoot for the American guy in the octagon, or the American woman in the octagon.
Why not? How many times have I sat here on this show and said, you stupid redneck motherfuckers who are chanting USA at an event obviously have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
Just because you're cheering for the American, just because he's American, that's a stupid reason to cheer for anybody. That's like saying, hey, cool, you grew up in Washington, you have to be a Redskins fan. Actually, no, I fucking don't.
Right.
Make up your mind, decide who you want to be a fan of. But yeah, it's just stupid. And
I'd rather cheer for the individual, you know, just based on how I like them, how they conduct themselves inside and outside the octagon. But anyway, that's another fucking story. We're going to talk about the fucking UFC 175.
Now,
the UFC 175.
I think they're doing
like the Ohio State University.
I think they're doing a company man wrong on this card.
Company man wrong.
Yeah, I think they're doing a company man wrong. Now, I understand both sides of this. I understand you're trying to get late UFC pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the first fight on the main card, because these could easily be flip-flopped, and I don't think putting Uriah Faber as the last fight on your prelim card on Fox Sport 1 is going to make that much a difference in your pay-per-view buys. I just don't. Yeah. And I think it's wrong. I don't think he should be there.
Yeah, the fact that they're putting Uriah Faber on the tail end of the preliminary card, obviously they're doing that to entice people to buy the main event. People who are like kind of teetering on the edge. Oh, do I want to buy this event or do I not? But I always thought that if you're somebody that doesn't know a lot about the sport, and especially, I mean, not taking anything away from Uriah Faber, but I don't think he's the type of fighter that is going to entice me to buy an event. If I wasn't now, if you put somebody on there like fucking,
he's gonna come out and try to finish this fight.
You think?
Yeah, Dana White is gonna go to Uriah and be like, "Look, we need you to put on a show. We need you to get the balls out. Here's 50 G's. Yeah, here's 10 G's. Here's 20 G's." And that's money you never hear about. That's money you never see reported. Mm-hmm. That's why you see some fighters complain about salaries, and some fighters don't complain.
Right. Well, you're right in favor. I can never see that guy complaining because he's still fucking. He's a pretty boy.
Why? Because he's in all the Boost commercials.
Yeah. He's got a fat sponsor every time. I mean, he should. Well, that's just good for him.
Where do you get the Boost sponsor from?
I don't know. I don't know if Boost is coming up to him or whatever. Then he had the other sponsor too, the juice sponsor. I don't know what one of those fucking drinking on Grandpa's Boost bottle. Anyway,
so Uriah Faber ends the preliminary card versus Alex. Go ahead and say his last name. Go ahead and say his last name.
What?
Alex's last name?
Oh, you ain't throwing me here. You're not like, here comes the bus. Get in front of it, Cal. I'm not doing that shit.
It's Alex Karasaris. I think I said it right.
Karasaris?
I don't see you make an attempt.
Huh?
Go ahead, I'll wait.
Oh, no, I know, man. I know that you're really good at this kind of shit. No, so, man, I don't want to let you. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, this is the dude they call Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy?
Yeah, that's his nickname, Bruce Leroy.
Okay.
All 5'9" of them.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be the bantamweight match that's gonna end the preliminary card. Jumping right into the main card, we're gonna have Marcus Brimage versus Russell Doan. Okay, in a bantamweight fight. And that's where you said these two matches could have been flip-flopped. Right. Because obviously, and George and I never pull punches with shit like this. I don't know Marcus Brimage. I don't know him. I don't know his brother. I don't know any of his family members. I don't know any of Russell Doan's.
Don't worry. Russell Doan has had one fight in the UFC, and his opponent, Marcus Brimage, this will be his, I think, fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this will be his fifth fight. And let me tell you what. Short of Conor McGregor, I don't know who any of these guys have fought.
Yeah, and
I don't know what you want us to do.
Marcus or Russell, if you're watching this, we're sorry. It's just because you haven't. I mean, obviously, in a year from now, we'll know all about Marcus and Russell, but we don't know anything about Marcus and Russell.
So that's a hell of a way to start off a $70 pay-per-view event.
Exactly. Moving on. The next fight is a middleweight fight between Uriah Hall and Thiago Santos.
Such an underachiever.
Yeah.
Just underachieving. Yeah. And I'm talking about Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall came out of the house, and we watched him on the show, and he was supposed to be this killer, this murderer, this guy who's going to destroy everyone.
Owner of the most vicious knockout we've ever seen in fucking probably...
since the show's inception.
Erected.
It's a good word.
Yeah, I know.
But he lost to Kelvin to lose the contract.
Right.
He then turns around and loses a split decision to John Howard. So at this point, he's going into his third UFC fight at 0-2, and he gets handed Chris Lieben. He destroys Chris Lieben.
Right.
At that point in Chris Lieben's career, not that hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't, it was,
It's not the Chris Lieben that look, we knew what we were getting with Chris Lieben, and Uriah Hall did what he was supposed to do. Yeah. And so, here's Uriah Hall's chance to get his record back to 2-2 against Thiago Santos.
Right. I'm gonna say that Hall is gonna get it together, because I'm hoping by now he's worked on his ground game to some extent, where he can fend off people that have decent ground games. I'm hoping he's done that, and he takes advantage of this athletic guy that has such an incredible stand-up game that he puts it into fucking play, and he fucking can put away Thiago Santos. Because that's the only thing to me, George, at this point in time in this guy's career, that can get him back on the map. Because he's starting to fade fast. I mean, especially
I don't see his commercials anymore.
No, and he's in the middleweight class, which it's starting to get thick, man. I mean, obviously, like you said earlier in the show, Dana White's hired like 300 people in his stable.
That's what it feels like. I don't understand. But what I do understand is his opponent has only had 2 fights in the UFC. He's gone 1-1, and he spent less than 2 minutes in the ring between both fights, and I would say this is a can.
How did he end both of those fights?
He lost the first one by submission, guillotine in 41 seconds in his UFC debut in Brazil. That's not good. Right. And then his next fight, he beat Ronnie Marks with a kick to the body in 53 seconds. Okay. Again in Brazil.
Yeah.
I don't think this fight's in Brazil, so I don't know how well this is going to fare for my man.
No.
Uriah Hall should win this going away. Now, on to a heavyweight bout, which Kevin has asked a lot about. There haven't been a lot of heavyweights lately on these fight nights.
Yeah, before we turned on the camera, I was telling Joe, I said, there hasn't been a lot of fucking heavyweight fights.
Or even light heavies.
No.
It's a lot of the smaller guys.
All smaller guys. I mean, we've seen a lot of featherweight, bantamweight fights, lightweight fights. I mean, that's been loaded up for the last few months, and you haven't seen a lot of heavyweight matchups and light heavyweight matchups. Tonight we will get to see that. I mean, this night we will get to see that because we'll see Stefan Struve versus Matt Mitrione.
And this is Struve's first fight since being told he has a enlarged heart and a leaky valve.
That's scary, man.
Yeah.
That is scary. It's just like and I'll take a break from this. Well, we'll talk about during the NBA draft segment.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's scary, man. A leaky valve and an enlarged heart. I mean, you don't want to. I mean, in the type of training that you have to do for mixed martial arts, it's intense. I mean, during the fight, it's intense. That's just some scary fucking shit.
And last time this Struve gentleman fought, he got dropped by Mark
got
Hunt
timbered
in March of 2013. So, and then he's going against Matt Mitrione, which there's another guy, a lot of hype, a lot of talent, and
great in the house. I mean, and it's with Matt Mitrione, it's weird. It's almost like this emotional thing. Like you just don't know who you're fucking gonna get.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he shows these flashes of I was going to say flashes of brilliance, but he doesn't show that.
I know. He
showed flashes of
his talent. He really showed last fight versus Sean Jordan. Okay, yeah, I know it's Sean Jordan, but it got performance of the night. So that either speaks to the card or speaks to his talent.
Yeah,
he knocked that dude out. Before that, he lost to Brendan Schaub. Before that, he beat Phil DeFries. It depends which way the wind's blowing. Yeah,
like fucking heartbeat.
If he feels like getting up. Wow.
I mean, it's
really.
I don't know.
Or
flatline. Yeah, maybe he'll flatline Stefan Struve.
Okay. Yeah, and you guys tell me I'm the asshole.
It's a joke stuff. Okay.
So you got one in that fight.
6 foot, 9 foot, huh?
I got Uriah Hall. So in the first fight of the night, I couldn't tell you. Don't care. Flip a coin. Second fight, I hope Uriah Hall wins because if not, you could be out.
For the what's funny for the heavyweight bout, the third fight, I'm gonna go with Matt Mitrione.
I'm going with Struve.
You are gonna go with Struve.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that will move us on to the women's bantamweight.
I don't think he's
title.
gonna skip a beat on this one.
See, George is pulling him out of fucking his ass now.
Oh, you don't want to know what came out of this ass earlier. Holy
in my fucking house. You know what I mean? Ronda Rousey right now is like
judo toss armbar. Does it matter what round? Because that's the only way this chick wins.
Yeah. And now I'm going to tell you what with Ronda Rousey. I mean, the last couple fights, she's starting, and we said this for a long fucking time. If someone didn't take her out or beat her and stuff, it was only going to get worse for these women because she was going to broaden her skill set. Now she's to the point where it's not just the toss your ass to the ground and throw you in a fucking arm bar. She's putting together punches. She beat Sarah McMahon by putting her in the clinch and Muay Thai the fuck out of her ass. Yeah. I mean, the girl is her skill set is definitely getting better. She's got more weapons in her arsenal now. What she's good at, she's the best at in the world. I just can't see Alexis Davis beating her. I mean, good luck. I mean, really, good fucking luck. I mean, this girl is just, Ronda Rousey is too well-rounded. And, maybe Alexis Davis, maybe you can prove me wrong. But I just don't see it happening. I'd like to see what the fuck are odds. We can pull bet US up. What
Not
are
even
the
worried
odds?
about it. Ronda Rousey's like a 3,000 point favorite.
I would have to say it's minus 600.
It's got to be. That fight's going to be over quick. I would like to know the over-under of 2 rounds. Like, what's the bet to go 2 rounds?
Right.
Because it's not even going to go 2 rounds. I think Alexis Davis is totally outmatched from top to bottom. She doesn't stand a chance. But that's your whole Canada versus USA thing there. So all you people who are watching this in Vegas can chant USA, USA, because it really makes
no fucking sense. Now, George, I'll let you go ahead and I'm going to look up something real quick for everybody.
Now we get to see Chris Weidman.
Mm-hmm.
For those who haven't followed Chris Weidman's career, he is the only man to beat Anderson Silva twice.
Right.
I don't care how you want to look at it. If they were both fluke wins, they're both wins. He's done something that no one else has done, and that's beat Anderson Silva twice. I don't care how you do it. He's done it.
Yep.
Now we're going to find out if he's real. Because Lyoto Machida is a motherfucker. I don't know how you train for him. I don't know how you mimic that style. I don't know what you would do as a fighter to get ready for that.
Yeah.
You're going against a fighter who's very in and out, back and forth, left and right, very quick with the feet. He throws his feet just as quickly as he does his hands.
Yeah.
He usually
is
has
the
issues.
most elusive fucking big man. I mean,
But he usually
like,
has issues with guys his size or bigger. Machida does. You saw that with John Jones. You saw that with who else he had an issue with. He lost to Phil Davis. Phil Davis kind of just smothered him.
He lost to these guys. Machida lost to guys that are bigger than him. Now, this is the funny thing, though. We have to also realize this about Machida. Machida is big as a fucking middleweight.
Coming down to 185, he's huge.
Coming down to 185, he is big. So now Weidman has a guy where he's like, okay. You know, I mean, he is a big fucking guy. Because Machida's like 6'2", 6'3". So now to see him as his stature as a middleweight, Weidman has to deal with a pretty big guy that's elusive, and he can put together some shit with his punches.
Yeah.
And, I just think that if he grabs a hold, Weidman has always, so far from what he's shown me, he's a very methodical, smart fucking fighter. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't seem to get rattled. He keeps a very cool head, which, I mean, obviously he had to do with Anderson Silva in both fights. And I think if he just sits back and does what he's done all his previous fights and waits for an opening and gets Machida to the ground, then it'll be a wrap. That simple. Can he do it? I don't know if he can do it. What do you think? Do you think he can do it?
I don't think it's ever going to make it to the mat.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to get caught and get snoring.
Somebody's going to get snored. Yeah,
I just don't see us going to the mat. Now, I mean, Chris Weidman, they say he has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. That could save him, but, I mean, I think Machida's either going to snap off a front kick, Randy Couture style, and knock this cat's teeth out, or Chris Weidman's going to catch him.
Now, let me ask you this. Suppose Machida just, all of a sudden, disposes of fucking Weidman really quick.
He's going to have a rematch.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I think Weidman just knocks out Machida, this legitimately gives him the respect that he needs. You know, and wants, because everybody's
but even then, you're still gonna have doubters. I mean, he needs to, like you were saying, he needs to win the fight legitimately. This can't be some kind of fluke. This can't be. First off, Machida's not gonna play the games Anderson does. You can't leg check and break the guy's leg again. Like, there's certain things that you just need to win the fight legitimately.
Right.
You win this fight legit, you're legit. Unfortunately, I mean, but if you look at your 2 wins against Anderson, no one's going to give you credit for those.
Yeah, one, because you have people that just love Anderson. I mean, we loved Anderson, but
you beat him twice.
You beat him. You knocked him out when he was goofing off, which was good. You still won, and then he broke his leg with a leg check, so yeah. I mean, obviously everybody thought before that was a legitimate win. But I think if he comes past and he knocks out, if he finishes off Machida in a quick fashion, I think that is just going to raise his stock. I mean, everybody's going to say, okay, this kid's for real. Even though all the real good MMA enthusiasts and people who have followed his career of like, this guy is the fucking he's the new breed. He's the shit. Now, on the other hand, if Machida comes in and finishes him, then I think that just crushes him. His credibility.
It'll be interesting. The thing I'd be most interested to see what Dana does.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
if Weidman gets fucking cornholed, just obliterated. Let's say he gets kicked upside of his head. He's on the mat counting sheep.
3, 2, 1. Okay.
What's Dana gonna do? Dana gonna give him an automatic rematch, or is Dana gonna bury him somewhere?
I don't think he's gonna do that. I think he'll give him a rematch. But then, you know, you
don't lose twice.
You get. I think to some degree, that's the shit that we've. I think these for a long time, the lightweight class was fucked up. You know why? Because you had Edgar and Maynard, and you had that shit going back and forth. And then we saw the same thing with the heavyweight class with fucking JDS and Kane. Like, you had these 2 guys going back and forth in 1, 2, 3 matches, and now it ties up your class, and you don't see it's fucked up. And now look at the fucking class. The lightweight class is just recovering from all that shit, it seems like. You know? Anyway,
that's UFC 175.
Who do you have? Weidman or Machida?
Weidman.
Yeah, I have Weidman as well. That's UFC 175 in a nutshell. Let's move on to NBA news.